What's going on, guys? Ty with Clean Cut Lawns. Hope you're all doing well. If you haven't been to this channel before, consider hitting that subscribe button. But I'm up here in the mountains with Sean, and I'm going to let him go over his 2019 lawn and landscape setup for you, just so you can see some different opinions and some other kinds of equipment that can make you some money. But without further ado,
good morning, guys. How we doing? So yeah, my name is Sean of Southern Appalachia Lawn Care out of Glenville, North Carolina. And today I'm just going to go over a lot of the equipment I use, whether it be summertime, fall, winter, anything like that. I'll start with my trimmers. So this is kind of the oddball since I'm mostly a Husky guy. Stihl FS130R, great power, excellent power. I love that machine. Great fuel efficiency. The only thing I have found with these trimmers is the throttle can be a little bit touchy on them, and it may be different, varying. I'm just used to Husky trimmers. It's just very, very touchy, and it seems to me like it wants all or nothing, which is just fine if you're doing big open areas, you know, cutting really thick stuff. It's an excellent machine. I love that. Right here we have two Husky 525Ls. These are in the 25cc range. The main reason I have two of these is mainly just for a backup, and I do have a guy help me every now and then. But these are for like regular maintenance. You're not trimming off very much. They're super light, and what I really love about these is this articulating handle right here. You see how it kind of moves freely from the shaft and the motor. That really holds the vibration to a minimum, and it's by far the most comfortable trimmer I've ever had. And it only weighs, I believe, 9 or maybe close to 10 pounds. So you can hold this all day and feel just fine. And again, I have two of them. They've both been very reliable. Just keeping non-ethanol gas in them really helps. And then over here, another big trimmer. This is my Husky 535 LS. That's in the 35cc range, which is very close to the Stihl 130. This one as well has the articulating handle. Moves freely from the rest of the weed eater to keep the vibration down. This one is quite heavy. The shaft is a lot thicker. It's really meant for being a brush cutter. I just keep a weed eater head on it. It cuts through really thick stuff easily. It's definitely got more torque. I feel like the Stihl has a little bit more of a head speed, so it'll cut through stuff quicker, but this is really meant for super thick stuff. It'll cut right through it. It just doesn't have the head speed of the Stihl. I really haven't had any issues with this one. This one probably gets used the least, but it's great to have it in case you got really, really thick stuff. I believe this, and then also the price. I believe these two Huskies were right at $300. So right there in that mid-range, while that guy was right about $580. So be prepared to get your wallet out for that one. But for what I've used it for, it saved me plenty of times. So it's worth the money, and as long as you get the 4-year warranty, it works just fine. So now we'll come back to my blowers. I have two Husky 580 BTSs. This one here I bought about 3 years ago. This one's about 2 and a half, 2 years old. I've actually had more issues out of the newer one than the old one. I may have just got a lemon. I don't know. Never had any issues with the old one. The new one has had to have numerous spark plugs changed and stuff. I'm not sure what the deal with it is. But to me personally, I feel like these are the most comfortable blowers on the market that I've run. And that is mostly in part to this handle, how it's set up off center of the tube. Just being able to roll it over and kind of rest your arm on the tube, it really helps with fatigue over the day. If you're holding this blower for 8 or 9 hours, I just feel like this, compared to it being straight on top, it just feels a whole lot more comfortable to me. The padding could use a little bit of work. It doesn't have, as you can see, it does not have the back, what's it called, the cooling system like the Echoes, so it'll definitely make your back sweat. And I guess one other thing that I did that I don't see many people do is you'll notice the ends on this. This one right here is the stock tube that comes with the BTS, and it has that flare to where you get more CFM rather than miles an hour. This one, the end tube on this came off of a 570 BTS, which those are meant for more mile an hour and not as much CFM. I really find that this one works well when cleaning up brush because it blows limbs and sticks and anything wherever you need it. This one is good for good dry leaves. It'll just blow a big bulk of them at once. So if you guys have this blower, I would recommend going by your dealer and seeing if you can just get the end for a 570, because you'll find it comes in handy with super wet leaves, brush, anything else. And if you come over here, you can kind of see the size difference. So this one lets out a lot more air, just not at much speed. This one shoots it out much faster. I don't know what the specs are with this tube end on it and this blower, but you know, it does. I can just personally say that it shoots out air a lot quicker. Other than that, I mean, they've been great blowers, and I can't complain one bit. Over here, we have the Echo PB770T. I haven't had this blower very long, but I've used it, you know, on and off, and I really like the speed that it puts air out. Just having this small tube, I believe it closely resembles the BR600, and I don't know which of the Huskies, but it puts out air very quickly, and I really do like how it has the opening back here so that it cools off your back while you're blowing. That really helps, because I'll find my back getting very warm running those Huskies. So that's a very nice feature when it's warm and you're blowing leaves. Great fuel economy on this one. The Huskies do use quite a bit of fuel, but great fuel economy on this one. And this will be my summer trimmer, or summer blower, what I haul around in the truck to blow off random sidewalks or driveways, just because I don't need to haul something that big with that much power around just blowing grass clippings off. So right here we have my little hedge trimmers, just, you know, your base hedge trimmers. They're really not that expensive, and I didn't need anything super fancy because I don't do all that much bush trimming, really just once a year, you know, for a couple weeks. So I didn't feel the need to really spend much money, but I can't complain one bit about these. They've been very reliable, always started when I need them, never had any issues. And what I really like about these, and I don't know if any other makers do it, is the ability to turn this handle any which way. You can turn it to a 45 or all the way to the side, so that way your hand is always on top like that, no matter which way you're trimming. So that is one feature I really like about it. I really have no complaints about this. They were reasonably priced, and you can still get the warranty just like every other Husky product. Now onto my chainsaws, which I don't use much during the summer unless we have storms, but this time of year when I'm trimming stuff, they come in handy. Start with the little one, Husqvarna T540 XP. This is really meant for an arborist, you know, tree climbing saw. Has this hook right here that you hook onto a lanyard and just take it up in the tree with you. I don't climb. This is primarily what I use if I'm trimming rhododendron or anything that's well overgrown. It's super nice because I can be cutting and holding on to the limb at the same time. So that makes it much safer, so I can just move that limb out of the way and just keep cutting and not have to use a saw with two hands, set it down, move the limb. You know, they sell cheaper versions of this. This is the most expensive. If I go back, I will find I don't need something this powerful. You can run up to a 16-inch bar. This is a 13 Tech-Lite. It's aluminum, very light, so it helps keep the weight down. But I find I don't need that much power with a saw like this because I'm not cutting anything super thick. So you could find a very reasonably priced saw this size, whether it be Echo, Steel, Husky, whatever. I would highly recommend this just because the ease of using it with one hand, and instead of using, you know, a bigger saw where you have to use two hands and then move stuff out of the way. And especially like me when I'm working by myself, this is a lifesaver. And I haven't really had any issues with this saw. I've had it for about 2 years now, and it's been a great, very reliable saw. I'll move up to the big saw. This is our Husky 562 XP, right about 60 cc, 62 cc. It is the XP, so it does have more power than just your average 62 cc chainsaw. Right now I have the 24-inch bar on it. I do have a 20 as well. I've been cutting bigger logs here recently. These both have the computer run carburetor. So it really helps me because I'm constantly changing elevation. This automatically takes that into account, as long as humidity, you know, how thick the air is. So that way it automatically adjusts the carburetor. So that way I'm not having to take a screwdriver every time I change elevation. And it runs perfectly every time. So I've owned this saw for probably over 3 years now. It's one of the first pieces I bought, and I have not had any issues with this saw. Great power, great reliability, and yeah, as long as you keep borrowing it and running on ethanol, you know, these things will run forever. So as you can see, I run mostly Husky stuff. That's just, I've been kind of biased towards them, but after running that Echo and that Steel, I'm open to changing. And as you'll see with my mowers, I'm not really biased with mowers. So I guess we'll just move on over. We'll start with the, this is the very first mower I ever had. It's a Gravely Pro 60. So it's a big deck, 60 inch, has a Kohler 18 horsepower on it, the original motor from this unit. This is an 89. And it's hydrostatic, which I'll never own a gear-driven walk-behind. You know, I have no complaints about this. It's been super reliable. But the problem is it's just lost so much blade speed over the years that it just can't compete with these newer mowers. So I have a, which won't be in this video, a Bobcat QuickCat 61, 61-inch mower. It's actually getting serviced right now. But that's what I primarily use for my larger properties. This is more of a backup. So I'll probably never get rid of this mower. It's just been very, very easy to use, always starts up. And if you'll come over here, you can kind of see the old pistol grip, how the style used to be. You push this handle forward, and then both of these drop down. And then you got to have pretty big hands to be able to turn it from this when it's full speed, and then you just pull it up like this. Here's your PTO choke. It's actually got 2 chokes, and yeah, this unit only has 700 hours over the span of over 20 years, so it hasn't been used much, but it's been very reliable, and I'll definitely be holding on to it. Now over here, I just bought this mower just, you know, 2 days ago. I have the 60 and I have a 36. Now I needed something in the middle because a lot of my properties, that was just too big. 36 was too small. So I just needed to meet in the middle somewhere. So I got a 48-inch Snapper Pro SW35, which I believe is the most professional version of this mower. I'll do a full in-depth walk around of it, but I just bought this and it only has 0.2 hours on it. So this should be very helpful when it comes to doing my mid-sized properties. And you know, I can't speak on reliability or anything of it yet, but I'll do a full in-depth walk around in another video. Over here we have the little guy, John Deere 36-inch HD 45. Another hydro mower, has a Briggs 14.5 horsepower. I bought this used a couple years ago from Jimmy Massey at Massey Landscape. Thank you, Jimmy. And it's been very reliable as well. Again, it was used in places that were probably too big for it most of the time. This is my mower I stick on super steep properties just because I don't feel like weed eating most of the time, so this guy will get up and on to you know, pretty good incline. It's older. I believe it's a 92 model. It's hydrostatic. That's not the original motor on it, so that is aftermarket, so the motor has very few hours. And other than that, it has the old style, you know, this is how you change the height. You got to pull out 4 pins on each side and put them into the hole. It only goes up by half-inch increments, and then you have, this is an older style as well. I have these bolts brought down here to keep the deck from, it used to articulate and go over, but I found that actually scalps more than like it being fixed. So I lowered these bolts so that way it's affixed just like all the other mowers. I understand the concept of it being able to kind of rotate on this bar right here, but I just found that really made it worse in that it scalped a whole lot more. But I can't complain. Now that I got that snapper, this will probably only be used on a few properties, but it will be nice to keep and nice to have around. So now we'll move up towards what I haul with and my trailer setup and the excavator.
Yep.
Alright, so here's the tow rig. It's a 2013 Chevy 2500 with the 6.0 gas. It's done well. It does have a lack of power compared to 2500s. It does have that small V8 in it. But, for reliability aspect, that's why I went with a 6.0, because they've been using that motor for now, right at 20 years. So reliability of this motor, I can't complain in all the aspects of it. It tows mowers and stuff just fine. Now when I tack on my excavator, it struggles a little bit up here. But I really can't complain about the truck. It's been very reliable. Been through a few sets of tires. Really, other than that, oil changes, I haven't had any issues out of it. So right at 75,000 miles, it's been a very good truck. Now back here, this is my landscape trailer. This is what I use to haul around all my mowers. It's a 6.5 by 14. I'm not sure it's a Superior trailer. It's out of Georgia. It hauls. I probably put too much weight on it before, but axle's still good. Just replaced the tires, and the grates back there, I took it off because I was hauling some debris. But I found that a single axle is probably easier to use than a double axle. For one, just being able to fit in tight spaces. You don't have those two tires that are, if you're making sharp turns, running across the ground and wearing out quicker. So I'm glad I went with a single axle, just because it makes it hauling it a whole lot easier. It keeps the weight down. Yeah, you can't haul as much on it, but mowers and stuff don't really weigh that much, so you could still stick probably 3 mowers on that and be just fine weight-wise. Alright, now I'll take you up and show you my other trailer. Here we have my equipment hauler. It is a 7 by 16. Not sure the make, but it has 2 7,000-pound axles on it, so I can haul with the trailer 14,000 pounds. 2 5/16 ball, brakes on all tires, so it makes it really safe when I haul my excavator or anything super heavy around. It's been a very good trailer. I got this out of South Carolina, and no rust, and it's been a very good trailer so far that I've used it. Now over here we have my little tractor, Kubota B6100. This thing really doesn't get used all that much. All I really use it for is maybe hauling a trailer around the yard, or I have the scrape blade on it because I just plowed snow with it last. It's old. It's a 70s model, but it's got that unbeatable 3-cylinder Kubota diesel in it. Those things will run absolutely forever. So it's done well for what I've needed it to. Had a fuel issue with it once. That's because it got down to, I think, -9, and it did not enjoy that at all. But I have no complaints about it, and it's a good little reliable tractor if you need something small that can fit into tight spaces and haul a trailer or a scrape blade or anything else. And now we'll go look at my excavator. And here we have my excavator. This is a 2011 Bobcat 325. It is a 27, almost 28 horsepower machine. Weighs right about 6,200 pounds, so it's easy to haul around. Mostly what I use this for is tree jobs, for example, the logs I got back there. Landscape installs, removing bushes, underbrushing. It'll amaze you how easy it is just to get those teeth and just drag and pick up everything and pile it up. This has really saved me a lot of effort and the need to hire somebody. The main reason I wanted this machine is because finding somebody to work with you and be reliable is very difficult, as most small business owners know. So having a machine that can do the work of 4 or 5 people really just makes it a lot more easier on myself knowing that I can hop on this machine and do whatever I need to do. I'll do a review on this in a later video, but that is my 2019 setup for landscape and lawn service, and hope you guys enjoyed.